researchers are trying to help AI-powered robots laugh at the right time during a conversation.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Do they have a
And
creepy laugh already? Did you get to listen to any of them?
so no, I didn't, but so picture that
Is
though.
that the wrong time to laugh? Is that?
But picture that, because that was very close to what I was imagining. And this made me chuckle because they go on to describe how bad the robots are at laughing naturally. And I can just imagine how awkward or maniacal that comes across. So you're just talking, right? You're trying to confide or bond with this robot, trying to seek help from this robot. And then it just starts laughing as if it's like planning your demise, like some sociopath.
Yeah.
And then with your laugh, paired with your laugh, yeah, that's kind of, I think, what they're trying to solve for.
Mm-hmm.
The timing and probably the type of laugh.
I think that's going to be very interesting because I don't think there's anything more human than laughter, as evidenced by Star Trek. I mean, I think that a lot of the episodes with Data in Next Generation are about him learning humor as an android. Because even then,
stand up and stuff.
Yeah, because even then, I think that the writers understood that is one of the harder things for a robot to get right, because there's so many different types of laughter. And the thing is, the funny thing is, I'm actually saying the robot will probably laugh realistically. It's the degree to which they will laugh that will be off-putting.
It's like, I guess you stayed too long. You're kind of over it, and they're going.
Exactly. Right. Exactly. But for something that a human being would not find this funny, like a knock-knock joke where they are losing a gasket, going all in.
It's like every time they get through the laugh cycle, they look at you to see if they should continue, but each laugh cycle is like 15 seconds.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right.
It's funny because you just hit on two things. So one, the article goes on to say laughter is a normal part of human dialogue, but like you said, there are several different reasons why humans laugh, and researchers put these reasons into two categories: shared social laughter, when the AI laughs in response to humans laughing, and two, solo laughs, when the robot laughs in response to a subject or laughs while speaking.
Yeah.
So why do we do this? Some say that, or why should we do this, I should ask. Some say that making the robots less creepy is just a good thing, and experts agree with that, that making the robots more approachable and natural will be critical to integrating them into healthcare, hospitality, and really any other service industry.
Yeah. Industries that people have basically gone on record to say will never be taken over by robotics because they're uniquely human. People require human interaction with healthcare and so on in order to feel comfortable. But this is going to be interesting. I like this.
Really? That's a thing that I've never heard, that people say that'll never happen. I mean, bedside manner is such a thing that if you're hanging your hat on all medical professionals have bedside manner and that's why they'll never be replaced, I find that kind of ironic.
Not necessarily the way that we would describe good bedside manner, but just the very fact of being human, there's a human response to the touch of another human being. So whether that human is actually nice or not is kind of irrelevant, because the response is there regardless. It's a human response.
I think that there is definitely parts that I cannot envision, at least in any near future scenario, where a human will be replaced. But then likewise, I can imagine some things being that, like if you're in the hospital and they have to check your vitals every 2 hours, right? There's not really a lot of chit chat or Q&A going on. They're kind of coming in, flipping the lights on, waking you up, checking your vitals and getting out of there. And then you go back to sleep. I think that stuff could probably be automated. I think there's probably a lot of things that can be automated. Charting,
that's true,
type of stuff.
Yeah,
even if it's an assistant coming around, right, and tailing the doctor or nurse.
Yeah.
All right. So that's like that part of it, right? But it's funny. A lot of people are like, "This is crazy." Some think that robots' laughs are ominous, and I'm like,
well, you don't know.
I'm kind of dwelling on that, like the idea of a robot laughing at you, with you, whatever it may be. I think it's like there's a manipulation to it, a fakeness, a shallowness to it that's perceived. But it started making me think, far down the line, far into the future, is this the first step towards enabling our creations to not just realistically emote in the way that we're describing, the right timing, the right pitch, all that stuff, but to actually feel? Like, is like this, like fake it till you make it type
Yeah.
scenario where we are teaching them to do this. And then as soon as we have all the mechanics worked out, we just have to figure out that one switch where it's all real to them. And
well, it won't be real. It's about being real to us. I mean, laws of robotics.
No, it would be real to them in a sense where we're creating something that does actually feel.
But we would never want that to happen, because you'd want to put in that failsafe where you could break that fourth wall to ask.
I'm actually surprised you say that.
Hi, robot. Is this actually funny? And the robot needs to answer to you, no, it is not. I am a robot.
Right. Because when I'm thinking about, we create robots, and then do we create sentient robots, right? Because that's kind of what we're talking about, where they actually
which we don't
feel.
Right.
Everyone's
agreed not to do.
I mean, so you think that we would never do that?
We've agreed not to do that.
Who has?
Google, anyone who works in major robotics, they, again, unfortunately, this is something to throw back to another episode. It's all self-imposed. It's all self-governance. But every organization that works in robotics agrees not to create sentient life, not sentient robotics or what have you.
I'm curious if there's no one researching this today. I mean, you're naming we
talked about that. Yeah, we said that that's the warning.
Worldwide?
Well, I'm saying, that's the warning, is the fact that there is no actual governing body to enforce this, but it's all on the reconnaissance of people and companies who work within robotics. So I mean, it's
interesting how real we want to make these, and give them all the tools needed to, once they are sentient, they can mimic us in a heartbeat. Because I was going to say this before, what the line that immediately came to my head was from Sphere, but the movie adaptation. And when I think it's Dustin Hoffman says, "What happens when Jerry gets mad?" And what he meant by that is, we would rather them not feel anything at all. And I think that's kind of what you're getting at.
Yeah, of course.
But once it happens, there's a difference between not agreeing not to commercialize it, agreeing not to put it into production. But I'm having a hard time believing that no one is actually researching it to see how you would do it, or could it be done? There's no one in the world.
I don't want to say that. I'm sure.
And then once it's done, what do you do? Do you throw it in the bottom of a lake in a lockbox?
Well, I mean, I think a lot of the research should be, or at least ideally, it would be in terms of the research would be in terms of better identifying that someone else isn't actually doing it. So if you were doing research to say, how would we create sentient life? You're doing it so that way you could earmark it, or you could identify it in somebody else's robotic work and therefore flag it, and then basically shut it down, because everyone has agreed that we're not. There's nobody who is on the record as to saying that they support sentient robotic life. Nobody, no, not one government in the world has. Maybe I'll have to make a retraction on that, but as far as I know, I believe every government in the world has basically said.
Do you think that humanity, at least those in leadership positions with the means and resources and drive to do it if they wanted to, that everyone is kind of okay, we'll fight amongst ourselves, but we know an existential threat and we see one, and it's humans first. Everyone's on board with that. It's we could be fighting each other, but then when the aliens come, you're all right, it's obviously us two versus them now. Right. So everyone agrees that it is humans first. Correct. We are not creating any competition to our species.
Absolutely. That's exactly what I'm saying.
That's interesting. I mean, clearly, every movie would have you believe different, because there's always someone who thinks they can control it and winds up, getting thrown into a pit by their creation. But you're saying that in reality, everyone is firm and clear on the danger, and that it cannot be controlled.
Exactly. I believe so. Yeah. I just cannot see I can't see an advantageous scenario for creating sentient life for anyone in the world, aside from the bragging rights to say we are the ones who basically doomed you all. I don't, if you want to go down to history that way, I guess, but it's not like you can't control it. You could never control it. You
don't think someone would look at it as their children, and they would program it where they
children
look at them
don't
as
put
their
their parents into, because all children love their parents and don't just leave them in nursing homes for their own good. I mean, what, what are you saying here? Parent-child relationship.